the interview room. Muzzy checking in, the time's here. How you all doing? All right, let's begin. Let's have a chat about the fact that I want to interview the best fighters in the world, and that's that. Had a lot of guests from everywhere, all across the globe. Fighters tell me.
Greetings, everyone. Muzzy here from Muay Thai Interviews once again. My next guest, she's had an extremely busy year competing. She just won gold at the IFMA World Championships, as well as winning the Female Fighter Award at the tournament. She's also competed at the IFMA Games earlier this year, and she started training from a very, very young age. She trains out of Phoenix Gym in the ACT, aka Canberra. I'm joined by Zoe Putorak. How are you, Zoe?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So you started training before you were even 9 years old. How did you get into Muay Thai, and at what age did it go from training just for fun and fitness and all that stuff into actually getting serious about your training and fighting?
I'd say it started ramping up when I was around about 10 years old. That's when I decided that I wanted to actually just go from classes and go into sparring. And then from there, I did a few years there, and then decided around about, I think, 13 that I wanted to actually compete. And then at 14, my coach came up to me and offered me the chance to, and I took it.
Yeah, nice. And obviously you haven't looked back, and everything seems to be working out quite well for you so far.
I like to think so.
Did your parents get you into Muay Thai, or is that something, were your friends doing it, or someone told you about it, or how did that happen?
So I kind of just accidentally stumbled upon it, I guess you could say. I have an older brother, and at the time he was a part of a local football team.
Yep.
And one of the team members decided that they should have a training session and like a team bonding session over at Phoenix, and so they went along. And I'm a very annoying little sister, and I think my older brother is really cool, so I went along and I watched their training, and I thought what they were doing was really cool, and I begged my parents to sign me up, and later that week they signed us up, and well, here I am today, like 11 years later. I haven't left, I'm still there.
Yeah, and you've been with Phoenix Gym and also your trainer Anthony Manning from the very beginning. So obviously you two have a great relationship with the student coach thing. Who do you put that down to, and why do you think you both work so well as a team together?
I'd say we work so well and we have such a good relationship because there's trust there. Like, I know he won't ever match me against someone who he doesn't think that I could win against. I know he wouldn't like just put me up against someone so that I could get smashed up. And well, the gym is a loyal gym itself, and I'm quite a loyal person too.
Yeah.
So having that with each other and knowing that we have each other's backs, that just helps build a really good foundation for a relationship, and then to go on from there. Like, it's really great, and he's a friend as well as a coach. I mean, he can be hard, and but it's tough love. So
yeah.
It's still love there.
And also another one of your mentors and training partners, another solid Aussie Nak Moy in Lee Fook. What does he bring to the table, and what have you learnt from him over the years?
Lee is incredibly fast yet powerful. He's just so sharp. He's such an amazing partner to train with, especially when we do sparring. That there's just so much to learn from him. There are a few tricks that I have learned from him that I don't want to tell you because they're just too cool. So I keep them under wraps, but when I try to do them on him, I lose time and time again. But he's just such an inspiration to myself and anyone at the gym and people all around Australia, because he's always at the gym no matter what, and he's always helping the development of fighters, whether they be like pros, had 20 fights, or they're just starting off on their first fight. He's always there helping and making sure that everyone is getting their chance.
So you're actually you one of the trainers? Have I seen like through Instagram and stuff? Do you actually take some classes yourself at Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm just starting out too. So I've been helping assist the classes since I think I started helping when I was maybe 14, 16, something like that. I started assisting them.
Yep.
But over the past 12 months, I've stepped it up and I've started helping out now with the adult classes, and now I've been taking, a few beginner classes here and there. And when Anthony and Tracy, when they have to go away over to Turkey for the Junior World Championships, we have 2 juniors going over, then, I'll be taking more classes then. And it's interesting for me. It's been hard for my development because, well, not hard, it's good for it, but hard for me being a slightly shy person.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking these people who are proper adults, and I've only just turned 20, and then I have to, remind myself I do know more.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time, and these people are coming here and they're seeking, help, and they're seeking advice for Muay Thai.
Do you find, like, I don't know what you do like for your normal job, but is pretty much Muay Thai what you'd like to do once you've finished fighting and everything, like immerse yourself in it?
I think so. I mean, at the moment, I'm like full-time athlete, so I train twice a day, every day up until Saturday, Sunday, and then I work on Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
and then get back into training Monday through to Friday with coaching as well.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing I don't have like a clear plan for my future, but I just know that it's going to be to do with Muay Thai, whether it be, I don't know, maybe something to do with reffing, or perhaps just studying at uni so I can get a degree that might help me stay in the game a bit longer, like physio or something. Who knows? As long as it's to do with Muay Thai, I'll be happy.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, and I might bring something up there. I saw one of the posts you put on Instagram. I always wanted to ask you this question. You put a post up on Instagram a little while ago, and I think it was your first fight, and you put something to the effect of, it was my first fight, and the bell went, and I walked back to my corner at the end of the first round, and I smiled at my coach, and I said, "Oh, this is fun." And he said, "Yeah, it is now. Listen up and pay attention." What did he actually tell you at the end of the first round in your first fight?
Look, honestly, it was a while ago now, but I can't tell you exactly what he told me. But yeah, like you said, I finished that first round and I just skipped back to my corner because it was just so much fun. And I just looked at Anthony with a huge smile on my face. I was like, this is so much fun. He's going, yeah, that's right. Now listen. And just told me the tactics of what we had to do to win the fight. I think, I was doing something so silly and just jumping around the ring a whole heap. And he was like, you need to stop.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Now, a big congratulations and a big congratulations to you winning gold at the IFMA Games and also female fighter of the tournament. Last year you got silver, so you went one better this year. Can you tell us about this experience and how did that compare to last year?
So last year, we just kind of threw me in there to see how I'd go. It was my first adult worlds, and yeah, at that time I was only 18, so we were just kind of just an experiment to see how I'd go and how I'd stack up to them. We didn't really expect me to go so far, but I did, which is great.
Yeah.
So I had my first fight up against Finland, and I ended up winning via stoppage, and then I was through to USA, and then I won that one as well, and that was for the bronze medal. And then at the end of that fight, I kind of had like a little realization, like, oh, I could actually do this, and it wasn't a terrible feeling. So I went into the last round up against Russia, and unfortunately I just got too frustrated and too emotional in the fight that I just couldn't think clearly and I couldn't perform.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning silver. But coming back this year, like, I don't want to be second best. So I had that in my head, well, I'm going to win gold. There's no question about it. No one's going to stop me. So we went over to Bangkok. I had my first fight up against Ukraine. I won that via knockout in the second round. And then I went up against Sweden. I was winning the first 2 rounds, and then I got very cranky in the last round, and so I started using my elbows more, and I ended up cutting her, so the ref stopped that. And then I came up against the same USA girl who I'd fought last year.
Yep.
And, well, I won against her last year, so I didn't want her to have the satisfaction of winning and sort of like getting like a little revenge. So I just made sure that I was one step ahead of her at all times, and I ended up winning, and I'm pretty stoked with that.
Yeah, you should be. You should be, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
And, like, you're no stranger to World Championships because you also competed as a junior. So how did competing as a junior in the World Championships help prepare you for competing as an adult now?
It's just such a different tournament, and like, because you know, in Australia you go to your fight shows and you get them done, you know when you're fighting, you know who's going to be before you and all that easy stuff, whereas when you're at Worlds it's very much hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
So you have to always be prepared to go. You have to make sure that you're always on weight, and you have to make sure that you're always ready to fight. There's massive lineups and crowds, like for weigh-ins. If you want to be at the front of the queue, you have to wake up like an hour and a half before weigh-in even starts, and weigh-in starts at 6 o'clock. So it's chaotic and it's mayhem, but I'm glad that I went to the Junior Worlds so I could see how it was done.
Yeah.
And it's just helped me set up and just, you know, just get ready, be prepared, for the adult worlds.
Yeah, okay. And like over the last couple of years, you fought against some tough international competition, countries like Thailand, Russia, Sweden, and Ukraine, where they're renowned for producing very strong fighters. How do you think the Aussie female fighters stacked up against them in your experience?
Well, I think Aussie girls they're just as tough, if not tougher. I feel like yes, Russians they're tough, Ukrainians tough, all that good stuff. But Australians, we know what we want,
yeah,
and we will take it. So I feel like when it comes to skill level as well, it's all different playing fields. So you might draw someone like from Russia and be like, oh well, they're like, you know, they've got a good boxer here, but that person has a completely different style to what the others have. So it's all just sort of feeling your way around it and adapting to it. And I feel like that's what the girls been so good at in finding their place in the World Games.
Yeah, and
sorry, not in the World Championships. Wrong one.
No, that's cool. And like as you said, like, you know, Russia, Ukraine, they're all tough, like physically. Do you think they're as tough mentally as they are physically, or did you find that a lot of them could be broken mentally? I find a lot of them can be broken. I feel like it's all a facade that. Yeah. Well, it's not all. Okay, maybe not all a facade, but it is definitely a game face that people put on to be tough. But I think if you're smiling and having a good time, I think that's a whole heap scarier than someone that's just stoned face. Yeah, because you're the smiling one that knocks them out.
Yeah, because they're having a good time and they want to do more.
Yeah. Did any countries or fighters surprise you at the games in terms of, like, did they perform better or worse than what you expected?
There wasn't any countries or fighters that I paid that much attention to in their performances that made me like surprised or think it was different or wasn't expecting it. But I was rather surprised with how friendly everyone was.
Yep.
It could have also been down to me, where I was perhaps maybe friendlier than what I have been in the past. But like everyone was smiling, and you pass each other in the hallways and say hello. Whereas I've been to comps before where again everyone's just deadpan, no smiling, no hellos, no waves. But yeah, and especially like after winning, like so many people coming up and congratulating me, like people who I don't know, people from other categories and other coaches. It was quite nice to have that sort of atmosphere rather than just everyone's out to kill each other.
Yeah. And what did you think that the Aussie female fighters did well at during the IFMA Games?
I think they did really well at listening. I know it's hard because a lot of them went over there without their coaches. And even then that puts a little bit of a damper on the situation because you're not there with the person that you trust most. So you have to put your trust in someone else. But I feel like they did a really good job at listening to what the coaches had to say and what criticism they had and what they needed to take on board.
Yeah, nice. And from your experience fighting other Aussie female fighters just in general, what do you think that the Aussie female fighters do very well?
I think the Aussie female fighters, going back to being tough again, we're not afraid to trade punches, not afraid to get hit, and that's what I like the most. There's no one that like backs away and tries to run away. Like people are quite keen to stand their ground and to get hit and just bite down and go through the motions with it.
Yeah, they like to take a couple to give a couple.
Exactly, yeah.
And from your experience, what do you think Aussie female fight scene or fighters could improve on overall?
I think overall what they could improve on would be clinching, being stronger in the clinch, and having harder knees in the clinch as well, because a lot of the times, in my experience, there's been, we've been in the clinch and they're just trying to knee for points rather than to like damage.
Yep.
Like that. And takedowns from there as well. I reckon, yes, I think overall clinching knees and takedown would be something for the Aussie females to work on a little bit.
Yeah,
definitely something I try to work on at least.
I think if you're going to train Muay Thai, or at least if train or fight, then everyone's got. I think clinching's just a necessity that sometimes gets. I wouldn't say overlooked, but maybe not as much time dedicated to clinching and training it as what it should, or what other gyms tend to do. And you can often tell at fight shows, like you can tell like that's a clinching gym, that's not a clinching gym, and it does show. Your gym,
I agree with that.
Yeah, and your gym, Phoenix, is renowned for producing tough, aggressive walk forward fighters, such as yourself and Lee Fook, just to name a couple, who love to throw elbows. What aspect of training do you reckon you put that down to?
I think just because the way that we fight, it's similar, from my understanding, to how Anthony used to fight. He was always active and pushed forward, and so he's then now passed that down onto us, and we've taken it on board, and turns out we like it as well, and we like to throw elbows too. And yeah, it's just because in Phoenix, the fight team that we have, we're all very supportive, but we're all I've been saying tough the entire time. I need to find a new word. But
you guys are tough, so there's no other word to describe it, really.
Yeah. we're rather determined, I would say. We're all competitive and determined, and so that walking forward, throwing elbows aggressively, it all just sort of molds into one, and it fits all of us really well.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, because you've got like I like the aggressive style. How do you think your style would fare in the stadiums in Thailand or overseas if you were to fight over there? Because I did see that you were training out of, is it Pinho or a gym in Samui for a bit?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I like to think I'd go all right without sounding too cocky.
Yep.
But just because there's that aggression there and there's that want to win and the will to win, I feel like I wouldn't do terrible. You watch a lot of fights and you see, by the fifth round, 30 seconds to go, the Thais will stop fighting, and I understand perhaps they have more fights to go to and that sort of thing, but there's a lot that can happen in 30 seconds. Even if you're the one who's losing, you can come out on top and knock the other person out or cut someone so bad that they have to stop the fight. So I feel as though with my mentality and my determination, I wouldn't do too bad over there.
Yeah. And I'm just going to put it out there, but I reckon you're the female version of Charlie Bubb. By that I mean you've pretty much cleaned out your division here in Australia. You fought and beat everyone. So what's next for you? So what's next for you, and how are you staying motivated given that it's probably going to be hard to find you any decent fights at the moment?
Yeah, well, there's to stay motivated, because it's not just me as a fighter at Phoenix. I have teammates, so I have to be there to support them. Just because I'm not fighting doesn't mean that they're not fighting.
Yep.
So I have to be there. I have to be a good partner for them, and I have to make sure that I'm, going to their fight shows. And I mean that to me is enough. I just enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
Whether it be with fighting or not, fighting is the end goal for it, but training is just as fun, and you can't really just take it away and have a couple of weeks off and feel okay. That doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
at the gym every day, twice a day. I have to be there. I can't not be there. So my motivation is to be there for my teammates and to just keep on training until something arises. So at the moment, there's no fights for me in the books currently at the moment, but I know my friends do, so I have to be there and have to train hard for them.
Yeah, sure. And you just brought up being in the gym twice a day. So what's a typical day for you, training wise?
Training wise is I would head to the gym, start at 11, and in the morning sessions usually train with Anthony and Lee and the other full-time staff that are at Phoenix, like Maz and Tracy. We'll train for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that could be, sparring, or we could be doing weights or, bag rounds, just depending on what the day is and what we have during the night for the classes. Depends on what we'd do.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home, quickly grab something to eat, head back to the gym and start coaching from 4 till 6:30, and that'll just be either assisting or taking my own class. And then back to training again for about 2 hours again. And that would be with the other fighters in the fight team and the other members at Phoenix.
Yeah, okay. And how many active fighters, or how many in your fight team at the moment would you guys say you have?
Oh, God. At the moment, we probably would have, in the adult fight team, I would say under 10. Yep. We're only small, but we're close-knit, and it's good to have that bond and relationship with the other fighters. So it's the select few that we do have is the ones that you definitely do want.
Quality over quantity, right?
Precisely what I was trying to say. Thank you.
And I'd like to ask, what's your mentality going into a fight? Because I hear you actually get quite excited and you're quite bubbly and always laughing before you actually go out to the ring, which isn't what you would usually see a typical fighter.
No, yeah, I love it. um, I've been known to be dancing beforehand, skip around. I do giggle quite a bit and have a bit of a joke around. I love it so much, and it's such an exciting time for me to go over in the ring. It feels like it's what I'm meant to be doing, and so you put months and years of training into hard work into training, and then you find the time to shine, and you only get this little window, and in that window you have to make sure you give it your all. So to me, it's not something to get nervous about. I don't get nervous during fights. I get nervous when I spar like Lee and Anthony, but I don't get nervous in fights because it feels like it's what I'm meant to be doing, and this is what I'm here for. This is what I've put like my heart and soul in for the past decade, and it's just so much fun. You can't deny that.
That's nuts, because usually everyone has it the other way. No one gets nervous in sparring, and then come fight, everyone's nervous as hell.
Yeah.
So
I a complete opposite.
Yeah, no, I envy you. That's a good way to do it. If only it was that easy, right?
Yeah, if only. Hey.
So yeah, you haven't got anything planned fight wise or anything. Has your gym or any of the other fighters at your gym got anything planned? Any fight shows or anything like that you can tell us about?
So we have 3 fighters going up to Sydney in 2 weeks' time. So we'll have 2 of our juniors on there, and one of our new members of the fight team is going for his second fight. I think one of the juniors that's going up, it'll be his first fight, and then the other one that is also going up, he's had about 10 fights or so, and I'm pretty sure it's a rematch against someone who he fought up in Queensland. But other than that, for the rest of the year, I'm not entirely sure who we have on. That's usually dealt by like Damo, Lee and Anthony. They do all the fun stuff for us.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it. We just told you're fighting and we go do it. But for me, I don't have anything booked in. The only thing that is a definite at the moment is in 2021 for the World Games, where I'll be going over to, represent Australia for Muay Thai.
Yeah. Can I ask if you do find, well, you obviously are, but if you don't have any fights or any fights don't come your way, do you reckon like you would go and do a stint in Thailand or something like that, where it's easy to get a fight just like that, or you're happy just to stay in cold Canberra?
That person can again.
Well, I think we just lost it there for a second.
I think I'm pretty happy to stay down in Canberra. I think, I might head over to Thailand. That's more of a future Zoe problem. But I think I'll be happy just training for a while, and then if it just becomes unbearable, I might head over and see if I can rack up some more fights.
Yeah, sure. Now, Zoe, it's been great chatting with you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this. If people want to follow you, or they want to contact you, or they want to keep up to date with what's happening with your training wise, fight wise, all that sort of stuff, how can people get a hold of you?
Just head over to my Instagram page. It's just Zoe_Putorak_Muay Thai. Easy. And I just post up on there training and when I have fights coming up and results of them.
Awesome. And last but never the least, anyone that you want to thank or give a shout out to?
Obviously my Phoenix family, down here in Canberra. Anthony, Lee, Damo, the best coaches I could ask for. But yeah, just a massive thank you to them for helping me develop my not only my fighting style but also like myself as a person over the past decade. It's been incredible, and I would not trade it for anything in the world.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for your time, and I hope for your sake and everyone else's sake that enjoys watching your fight, including myself, that a fight gets or something comes up on the horizon, because I imagine you'd probably be getting itchy feet wanting to get back into the ring after you just had so much success at the IFMA Games and having a good year this year.
Most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zoe. Have a good one.
Cheers, you too.
The lives of great warriors, revered and notorious, infamous and legendary. That to me is glorious. Come kick it, still talk some shit with me. I'll ask so you can answer and explain to me the history. I had to throw a vicious knee. I got a passion for the art of 8 limbs. I'm just asking from the heart. So as I conclude this interview, thanks so much for sitting through. Love to all the fighters and the folks that listen. This for you.